Hello and welcome to Play Talk Repeat for this our review of Deadpool. So obviously Deadpool and Wolverine has come out in the cinemas recently, and we thought we'd go back and play the one Deadpool game that we've got. It is the only Deadpool game that's released, isn't it?
Apparently, well, Watch Mojo Gaming did the top 10 video games that Deadpool's in.
Oh, right,
So
okay. Well, so
Well,
this
yeah,
is
Was it one entry?
He's in like Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff.
oh
is
yeah,
it
so
was
it's
in
not-
Fortnite as well, apparently.
everyone's
He is.
Oh, aye. He is.
But this is one standalone game that he got. So just a little bit about the game. So it was developed by High Moon Studios, published by Activision. Genre-wise, it's action adventure hack and slash type game, and it was first released for PC, PS3, and 360 in June 2013. I've got some interesting facts about the whole removal and re-adding that was the game. If we're interested.
Yeah, go on
It's
then.
not. It's
It's
not.
quite
I say
interesting.
it's interesting. It's not interesting.
Can I ask first too what High Moon Studios made?
So I did look up this beforehand. They had a couple of games beforehand, like before Deadpool. I think one was like a Robert Ludlum thing, so it's like a detective game, maybe based on a license. There was
Right.
also they handled the Transformers games for a while, like again the movie tie-ins.
Oh god, they did Advanced Warfare.
But then Activision bought them,
Oh, okay.
Ah.
makes sense.
and they became
That's why they got put on Call of Duty.
They became
yeah,
Call of Duty Studio. That's what they became. They're similar to what happens for Toys for Bob for a while.
Yeah.
Rest in
The,
peace.
the license for the Robert Ludlum's game was the Bourne
Oh,
series.
the Born Conspiracy. That was a good
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
That was actually quite a fun game.
Was that based on Ludlum stuff? Oh, I didn't know.
There you go.
No. But anyway, so Deadpool, it's no longer available for purchase right now. It's the the physical can go up for like $300 on eBay, and that's because it was, like I said, it was first released in June 2013. In January 2014, Activision's license to create games with Marvel characters expired. So 6 months after it was released, it was delisted.
6 months.
6
Wow,
months.
that's quite a short shelf life.
Indeed, I don't understand why they put out the game when they only had 6 months left in the license. It was strange. I can't say for absolutely certain that he left the store in January. That's when the decision was made to delist it.
Right. Okay.
But then it was made available again on July 15th, 2015. I couldn't find a reason for that as to why they might have just re-upped the license, but then it was removed again on November 16th, 2017. This was to make way for a remaster, which I believe is what we played. That came out on like Xbox One, PS4. So that the remaster released the same day in 2017. But then the game was then delisted again in 2019, and that is when the physical copies started to rise in price. And obviously, as the movies come out, the price of the copies will go up and down and all that kind of stuff. But it's had a bit of a turbulent one.
I'd say that's pretty interesting.
Thank you. Cheers. I appreciate that. So let's get into some opening statements, shall we? Please and thank you. Somebody give me one. Niall?
Yeah, well, I'll give an opening statement for Deadpool. I thought that it was exceedingly competent. I thought almost every aspect of the game was like done well. You know, I mean, there was obviously some standouts like the stealth being very frustrating at times, even though there was very little of it. And also as well, the one thing which I think above all showed its age, obviously apart from like the graphics and how it handles and almost everything about it, is the enemy AI, and the fact that all enemies will just shoot at you. None of them will take a break. None of them will stop. It doesn't check how many enemies are shooting you before it starts shooting. Getting more enemies to shoot at you. It's just all of them in the entire level will just shoot to you at once.
The entire level.
Yeah, but yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10. I thought it was a bang average experience. It would have been worse if it wasn't for the license, that's for sure. But yeah,
5 out
Good.
of 10. Okay, no, that's fair play. Big Lou?
I think again, like Niall, I think it does quite a few things well. I think one of the issues with the game is, at least for me, it shows its age quite massively. You can tell that it's a game that was made like 10 years ago, and even talking 10 years ago, it still feels kind of outdated even for then. I think that, I mean, one of the best parts of the game for me, obviously, is the comedy. I was actually surprised by the comedy in it. just because, especially during that time, and I'll reference another game here being Borderlands. A lot of the humor in that game, if you go back and play Borderlands, it's like insufferable because a lot of the humor is just random thing, haha, funny. I actually think Deadpool is good at actually finding a line between like actual well-written jokes and then a bit of the random stuff sprinkled in there, and I don't think it ever overstays its welcome with that stuff. I think it actually does a good job. Gameplay wise, yeah, it's just sort of mediocre. I didn't overly love the combat. It was passable. The graphics, it was passable. Obviously the aesthetic of just it being like a comic book game was just nice, but like even graphically, it just didn't look great. It didn't look super nice. And the soundtrack was nothing. It was nothing memorable. I give it a 6 out of 10. It's slightly above average. Again, like Niall said, if it wasn't a Deadpool game, it would be awful. It genuinely would probably be like a 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. Because like I said, I don't think the gameplay carries it enough in any aspect for it to run by itself. But as a Deadpool game, yeah, I thought it was very fun. So 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Big Al.
Oh, what does Big Al think about good old Deadpool?
I would like to know.
Well, what do we reckon?
Bear in mind, watchers and readers, not readers, just watchers, listeners. Alex is the only one who doesn't really know Marvel stuff at all. He's like the blankest slate when it comes to Marvel properties.
And he does sometimes end up being overwhelmingly negative when everyone else is positive.
That's true.
But it
Yeah.
could be the other way around with this one.
It
You
could be.
could give it a 10 out of 10.
Love
It could be a 10.
Here's what
It could be.
Here's what Alex.
I thought the game was very, very repetitive.
Oh,
I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over and over again, but I did enjoy my time with it. I thought it was mindless fun.
Yeah.
It didn't overstay its welcome, and I enjoyed the comedy as well. I also learned a lot about the X-Men and Deadpool through them little comic things.
Yeah.
I would not have known otherwise.
Like, unironically, this has probably been one of the best representations of X-Men in like the past like 10 years. Like, aside
Yeah.
from like X-Men 97 that just came out, this is probably the most like X-Men filled property of like anything that Marvel's done. So that's nice at least.
Yeah, and surprisingly, it's made me kind of want to learn more about the X-Men. Yeah,
We have to relaunch the comics.
And-
Now's the time.
now's the time.
Now's the time.
Yeah, I gave it 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Oh, so I'll start off with a score. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed my time with it. Like, there wasn't at one point in the game that I wasn't having fun. It just took me back. Like, games released around this time, like superhero games, were all like this. They're all exactly like this, and they were all. Everyone thought they were fine back then. If you know what I mean. I think I disagree with Lewis slightly. I think the humor has aged quite terribly. Like, to me, the humor wasn't the best part about the game at all. Especially like some of the stuff he says he just couldn't get away with now at all.
No, yeah, I agree.
so-
I agree that some of the stuff hasn't aged, especially some of the stuff regarding like women.
Yeah.
The game is very like sexist and very like misogynistic in parts.
Yeah.
But like I said, I feel like it comes from a place of at least trying to be written good rather than relying on look at this thing very random, very funny, ha ha ha.
Yeah, and it came from a point in time where when the game was made, the Deadpool character in the comics was a lot different. He had these two voices in his head.
I was gonna say that. I'm surprised that. Yeah, I was shocked when I saw that because I remember that being a thing, and I was confused at the start when it was like, oh.
It was a thing
I
for a
wanted to
long
ask
time.
about that.
Yeah, it was a thing for a long time. But like, so when the Ryan Reynolds movie came out, the original, they kind of scrapped all that and kind of redid the character a little bit, made him a bit more current. The thing, like, the problem is with Deadpool's humor, it's one of those things that is going to age because he's very much like meta and in the now. But combat wise, I loved the shooting. I thought it was really good. I immediately went and bought the most expensive gun, the big zappy ones, and I used that pretty much all the time. I used melee very, very, very little, but it was just a good time. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, in that you could buy these like different mad weapons, and then as soon as you run out of ammo, it would switch to another one. So
I can sort of understand that from an upgrade perspective, and just like the amount of like stuff you could buy. Like, I did think it was very fun. I don't really see many games like that let you have like such a wide I was gonna say array of abilities. A lot of it's just like, oh, health is bigger, or you take more hits, something like that. But it definitely gave you a lot to buy and a lot to like work with, and I did appreciate that because I don't recognize many games that do that or make it seem like there's that much to sort of play with. It was very fun.
No, they don't make games like this anymore. It's I think it's a dying breed.
That's the thing. I could have
Superhero
guessed. I could have guessed you would have given it an 8 out of 10 because whilst I was playing it, I was just like, this is just fun. Every decision made is just for fun. You know, you got the mine carts, you've got all the other stuff that I can't remember. It just felt like like games nowadays they feel like they're all trying to win the BAFTAs and whatnot. But they just wanted to make a fun game, and I thought all of us were gonna like this.
Yeah, well, I couldn't word it any better than myself. Like again, I think I've said it a few times now. The most important thing to me for a video game is fun, and this game, as Niall said, is incredibly fun. It was just a good time all around.
I will say my favorite scene, just because I want to point it out, just because it was one of the. I will say I actually laughed like audibly a couple times in this game, but the one moment that actually made me laugh like quite a bit, which was just really dumb, was when Cable was talking to Wade, and then for some reason Cable turned into a taco, and it was like hyperimposed, like annoying orange, like his face was on the taco, and I just found
That made me laugh as well.
found that very funny. It was just really stupid. Like I said, a lot of the game was like that, but yeah, I don't know, that audibly made me laugh. And there was a couple of times throughout the story where I actually did laugh, which I can't say for many games, but at the same time, do many games even go for comedy now? Like I don't remember the last time I played a game that's trying to be funny, really, like ever.
Games.
I played one yesterday.
What did you play?
Thank goodness you're here.
God damn it.
That is a full comedy game.
It was a comedy game.
We're all here, Oliver.
Yeah, idiot.
Oh, it's a funny joke that just keeps on giving. It really does. But yeah, comedy. It is funny in parts, like you say. I think it would have been a lot funnier back then. You know what I mean? I did play this when it first. I did play this when it first came out, but I didn't. I got up to Genosha, and then I must have.
It's very funny how you didn't finish the game, considering it's literally like 4 hours long. It's not. It's like it's a long experience.
I didn't finish many games back then. It wasn't until How Long to Beat came along until I started actually completing games.
That's what it took for you to finish a game.
You need some way where you can record it. You know what I mean?
It's the only reason why I complete games as well. It's just nice seeing it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dopamine.
Is it not nice seeing the end of a story or the end of a game?
Nah, apparently not.
No.
I think I only completed like 5 games in my whole life before How Long to Beat, like all the way through.
Yeah, no, I think I'd probably the same, honestly.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's just the way it is. So, what was everyone's favorite like weapons, guns?
I didn't really change it up, to be honest.
I was gonna
Doesn't
say I'm
surprise
gonna be really boring, and people can obviously agree with this. I won't like harp on it too long, but
Can we disagree with it?
No,
Okay.
you have to agree. Though I pretty much used solely the pistols and the shotgun for the entire game. There was a point in the game in which the melee weapons became just completely pointless to use because you can just use the guns, which are infinitely stronger. And again, you don't even need to use all of them. Once you've got like a bunch of ammo upgrades and like the pistols and the shotgun, that's pretty much all you need. I found it basically slow to start as much as I wanted to, because I'm Deadpool. I want to use my katanas, I want to use my kunai, not kunai, whatever the spiky thing's called. I want to use it, but it was boring. It wasn't fun to use it when I could just plow through things with guns. And I thought the gun combat was actually quite satisfying. I thought the gun combat was genuinely enjoyable, which is I find difficult in a lot of games, to be fair, because I feel like gun combat can get very, very boring.
Because it was proper Gibbs. It was like Serious Sam type Gibbs.
Yeah, for sure.
When enemies
Yeah,
just explode, it's great time.
Yeah. So yeah, I basically just spammed guns throughout the entire playthrough. So my main weapons were the pistols and the shotgun. Really, I bought everything. I did use everything at least like once or twice. But yeah, it was mainly just mashing through the guns.
But you didn't.
I'm the same as Lewis.
Really?
I just used the pistols and the shotgun for like 90% of the game.
It was too strong.
And then towards the end, when I started running out of ammo for like the final boss and stuff, that's when I just used all the other stuff.
I just didn't see a reason to use it. It didn't, because the combos in this game, as much as it was trying to offer up some sort of like I guess, uniqueness to the combat is very, very simple. It isn't anything like impressive, and it isn't anything like thought provoking. It's pretty much just mash X and Y, and it will do different things. Kind of. That's about it.
But the explodey guns, the guns from the future, the zap ones.
The zap.
Fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
I'd already
I didn't.
upgraded my shotguns and my
Yeah.
pistols.
Like I did, yeah. Did you use the shot? Did you see how strong the shotgun was?
Yeah,
Yeah, they were strong.
So I bought the shotgun last. To be fair, I bought the big guns
Rookie
first,
mistake.
And-
Rookie mistake.
and I used the zappy guns more than anything else. It just made people explode. It was just great.
Was the Zappy gun the one that was like 150,000, like the most expensive?
Yeah, most expensive
Yeah,
gun. Yeah.
I only used that in the very final fight because I say it's when I bought it.
Yeah, same.
Mm.
Mental. Now, what did you use?
Well, that's the thing. I used everything, but that's because I misunderstood what I needed to do in order to get the player upgrades. Because I just wanted more health. Because my aim was just to try and run through the levels without dying. So I bought all the guns, and then I realized, oh no, I need to actually buy the upgrades for the guns in order to be able to unlock the player upgrades. And then I didn't have any more money. So I had all these low-powered guns, which had no upgrades, and I had no player upgrades going into the final mission, which is very
You
sad.
can only upgrade your health once anyway.
Well, no, you can upgrade
that
like
was
how
weird.
you can upgrade how you like regenerate and stuff.
All right. Okay.
As well.
Yeah, you can.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
you
yeah, I
can make
suppose
your health
I'll-
a lot faster and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
like based on like your combos and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, so I use the zappy guns and I use the hammers. The hammers were great. Obviously, once enemies start
Hammers were
blocking.
so slow.
Yeah, I know. Once you're fully upgraded, they're just again it hits people. As long as they weren't blocking, it kills me in one hit.
What difficulty did everyone play on?
Easy, and I found it very hard towards the end.
Okay.
Medium.
Yeah, like normal. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any issue with difficulty. I played on easy. I didn't have any difficulty
Oh,
towards
right,
the end or
easy.
anything like that. It was assuming this is just the final boss fight you're talking about now.
Well, it was the final like couple of levels. Like, I mean, the final level especially, the boss fight was it was just because of the amount of melee enemies. I was completely fine with. It was ranged enemies. When they started building up, they can melt your health bar from like 125 to 0 in like 2 seconds, and you can't stop it. You can't find cover quick enough, and if you're out of teleports, you're just dead. So that like I had to figure out from dying repeatedly when enemies spawn and how they spawn and where I am that causes them to spawn to make sure I don't do that, so I can manage the amount of ranged enemies. Like, that was the main thing for me.
It might be because you had no upgrades, honestly.
Potentially.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
like,
yeah.
I felt incredibly weak. Like, if I didn't manage the amount of enemies that could see me at once, I would just die immediately.
Yeah, I didn't overly have an issue with that. Especially the final boss, I can understand maybe how you struggle with it because it was pretty much just like wave after wave of enemy for like 15 minutes. Like, it was just sort of non-stop. But yeah, I think that was probably due to a lack of upgrades in the weapon specifically. Because like I was saying with Alex before, if you had like the upgraded pistols or the upgraded shot, it just melted through things like instantly. Like it wasn't.
It took
wasn't
forever for
something
anything to die. Like, literally, I would be mashing X against an enemy with the hammers for like 15 seconds and he wouldn't die. Like, it took forever.
That's yeah. I
were
don't
they
understand what you've
blocking?
done there.
No. Literally, they were being juggled, but during this,
Right.
and they would like take yeah.
The only reason I asked is because for the first mission, I didn't realize I selected the hardest mode by accident, and I was dying non-stop. And I was gonna message in this chat like, "Yo, guys, why is this game so fucking hard? Like, why is it so difficult?" And I found out that I was playing on the hardest difficulty for the first mission, so I had to finish the first mission, and then I moved it down to normal, and it was fine. Because it's very much one of those difficulties where there's a new game plus where it carries over your upgrades. So it's one of those games where it wants you to play the hard mode with your upgrades still intact, and yeah, I was stressing out the first like couple hours I played it because I could not stop dying. It was awful. I was like, guys, this is the hardest game I've ever played. Like, this is gonna be awful for everyone.
That one we're playing Seafood at the same time as well.
Yeah, but it was a relatively simple game. I didn't really struggle. Most of my deaths came from me, being what's the word? Being
Reckless.
Silly.
yeah, sickly, silly, yeah, and reckless. Just because I got impatient towards the end. Like, do you know the just for the final boss where you had to jump on the platform, the stone platforms, and it was basically It wasn't a maze, but it was like it was just like a little. You had to get to the end of the level, and you had to jump on a bunch of different like rocks and stuff to make it through. And I was getting really impatient and wasn't waiting for the rocks to lift up and down, and I just kept like trying to rush it. And that's
kept
where a
doing
lot
the
of
same thing.
that's where a lot of my deaths came from. Because but like actually dying from enemies wasn't overly a thing. I never really struggled that much with that.
Yeah, no, I only died if I was having too much fun. If I was just wandering into massive groups of enemies and just thinking,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I can
yeah,
definitely
I
take
can see
these. But
that.
then, like Niall says,
Yeah.
once they're all shooting you, they very rarely stop. So
Yeah.
you have to get like behind cover and stuff like that. I was trying to play it like Deadpool, like he would play it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where he just running all that kind of stuff. I think THQ Nordic should get a hold of this game. Me personally.
What?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
re-release
because
it?
it seems like the kind of thing that they would take on and remaster and put out again. Because I think it'd do well, especially at the moment.
Well, I keep seeing people like mention obviously a remaster. I think they should just make a sequel.
Well,
I
they
think you
got to
could-
make the game available first to make a sequel.
I know they do, but like I feel like they could warrant just like re-releasing it, finding a way to get the license, and just putting it back on stores. I think it would make more sense to invest their time in just making a sequel, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be connected to the first game.
Yeah, just
over. You can
reboot.
just say it's a sequel, and then just sort of do whatever you're doing with it. Just because like we were talking about, I feel like some of the stuff in it, as much as it's like obviously it's still fun, but it's aged, and even if they remastered it, it's not gonna fix a lot of that. So I think it'd be better to just make it available digitally again, and then just give us a sequel or work on a sequel, and then just go from there. But
Yeah.
keep it level based. I can't say enough how welcoming it was to have a game that was just some level. It was just level after level, and you got to play it from beginning to end. Open worlds are so infuriating and getting just really boring and stale as shit. Like I know people like open worlds. Sometimes I just want to play a game where you just play missions and you do the missions and it goes, yeah, you're done. Woo. And people, because I was reading up on this, seeing what people thought about Deadpool and a Deadpool video game, and so many people are like, oh, Insomniac should get a hold of this and you can give us an open world Deadpool game. And it's like, fuck off. It doesn't need
Make him swing around like Spider-Man.
need to be open world. Just make a good game. Just give us like a short game, because that was one of the best things about this game, that it didn't overstay its welcome. It was just nice, compact, fun, and then it just ended. It was good.
When you're making any kind of comedy game, I think shortness is one of the most important things you can do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You need to compress all the goodness down into something short. But
Yeah.
Is anyone else want to talk about anything about the game?
I thought the slow-mo section was badly done. That's what I think.
The slow-mo
Almost
section.
section.
You remember that when he booted open the doors and it was all slow-mo and you were
Oh
shooting them?
yeah, I do remember that. That
Yeah,
was
lasted
that
like
was very,
4 seconds.
Yeah, that was a very
Well,
specific
no.
part. But...
It doesn't, because it triggers on different. I know this guy died like 6 times to it. Basically, the way it works is that whilst in slow mo and whilst in a specific part of the area, all enemies have like 1 health, so you can just pop them all. But if you walk a tiny bit too far, they regain all their health, and the new enemies which come in, the shielded ones, they also have full health, but you're still in slow mo. So you just get absolutely melted in slow mo, and you can't get away, and you can't dodge it.
Right. So my understanding of this part of the game was it was supposed to be like in a movie where you boot open a door and you stand there and shoot everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why did you move?
I was just trying to go forward,
That's
and
just
I didn't think it would be an
forward.
issue.
I moved forward, but I just shot everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
They're all one hit.
Yeah, I thought it was silly, to be honest.
It was
silly,
silly.
really.
Yeah.
The inclusion of Death was cool. I didn't think she was.
Well, that was
it
cool,
seems
yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
That entire bit under the is it like under the Genosha or somewhere that they are? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it was
In a prison. Yeah, something like that. That entire level was really good. The worst level, in my opinion, was like level 7. It was the one just before the final one. Literally nothing happens in it.
Is that the jail?
No, it's like just running through buildings.
Oh, where you've got the turret, where you get given the turret and you keep getting shot to different parts of the map.
You might even know it's after that. Even it's after that.
That was way early. And about the one where it ends where you're on a bike, like a
Yeah.
bike. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that
that
entire
Oh,
level,
yeah.
that entire level living up, like leading up to that, nothing happened. It literally was just enemies in different buildings up until you got the bike. It was just kind of a waste of a level, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what a good joke was though? Do you know when he grabbed the do you know when he grabbed like the electrical wires to open the door, and then
Yeah.
for some reason there was a crowd behind him, and they turned to the crowd, and then he said rectum damn near killed him, and then no one laughed. And then the soldier came out and said the exact same thing, and everyone applauded.
I
That
thought
was
that was
really
funny.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't
enjoyed
know.
that.
I don't know why I brought
I
that
love
up.
gags like that.
It was just very funny. I mean, that's what's so good about Deadpool is there's like there's just half his shit. It's just dumb stuff like that. It's good that I like how Alex said that this game made him more interested in the X-Men because what I said before when I said this genuinely feels like one of the best Marvel things that's been put out in terms of just like content and story for like the X-Men and just certain characters in general. Like I think he does a really good job at that, and I think it shows by the fact that Alex is genuinely interested in wanting to know more. And I don't know why we don't get not that we've had that many comic book games that I can think of over the years, but I don't understand why we don't get more like stories like that because everything has to be linked to something now.
Yeah.
Everything has to be like based on this film or based on this specific thing or blah blah blah, and you can never just sort of have fun with all these characters anymore. You can't really do it.
Well, there seems to be ramping up a bit, don't they? They got that Captain America Black Panther game coming out.
Ooh, that was good.
They had the Avengers. Like I know, I'll defend Avengers. Avengers as a multiplayer game was shocking, but as a single player adventure, I quite enjoyed it. So they're definitely capable of it.
Yeah, they capable. I just want them to do more. Like,
Give it to the
obviously,
right
it was easier
studio.
back then as well, because obviously games were a lot easier to make. You don't have to spend $70 billion on one game, but I don't
That's
know.
the thing, the license fee as well, on top of development
That's true.
costs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Difficult sell.
Yeah, I just want more games to have fun with like the lore and the character. Because it's a video game at the end of the day, and you can do a lot with the. You're not as restricted as you are with like movies and TV shows and shit. Like you can sort of just do what you want, really. And I feel like a lot of games don't take advantage of that, especially when it's based on like an IP and stuff. So it was just nice playing Deadpool because yeah, it felt like they were genuinely having fun with the source material and they were being appreciative of it. I was having a fucking like seizure then. I don't know if any of you saw Oliver's camera then. Like the TV was going wild in the background. I went into like a trance for a second then when I was looking at Oliver's camera.
What else is going on?
So it's Deadpool being Deadpool.
Deadpool being
Nolan
Deadpool.
North.
Nolan North,
Nolan-
yeah.
Nolan North. Good old Rick
voice
Toffin.
Well, he's like the definitive voice of Deadpool, isn't he? Really, he's voiced Deadpool and everything pretty much since like
Has he?
2000. Yeah, since like 2007, I think he's been Deadpool in pretty much everything. When people think of Deadpool's voice, obviously it's changed a bit now with Ryan Reynolds because I'm sure a lot of people think of Ryan Reynolds
Associate
and
it.
stuff, but he's one of those like voice actors where like when people think of Batman, they think of one specific voice. When people think of Spider-Man, they think blah blah blah. It's like that. Like Nolan North is Deadpool to a lot of people. And I mean, he's just a good voice actor. You can't really complain about Nolan North.
Yeah.
I mean, I complain a little bit sometimes because he just sounds like Nathan Drake half the time because I mean he is. But
It was funny at one point. It was when I was fighting the final boss. Deadpool just pulled out the Rick Toffin accent,
yeah,
and I was like, "Holy shit, it's Nolan North!"
yeah.
Like it just didn't click with me at one like until that point, and I was like, "Why is he just speaking like Rick Toffin?"
No, yeah, you can't really fault Nolan North. He's a good voice actor. There's a reason he's in like everything. 'Cause
Yeah, literally.
He's just very good at what he does.
Who's Rick
Yeah.
Toffin?
He's on Call of Duty Zombies.
Oh,
Who's Rick Toffin?
I didn't play Call of Duty Zombies. Don't start
This
with that.
guy. But you had like, was it 3 of the actors from Zombies? So you had nearly the full Zombies crew.
You
I'm pretty
had
sure
you
Dempsey
had
and Nikolai
Steve,
was in
you
there
had
as well.
Steve Blum, obviously, who's Wolverine, who again
Yeah.
also voices Wolverine like everything.
He does.
I don't know about the other one. I don't know.
I
You
remember
said
seeing him in the
Nikolai.
credits.
Yeah.
You know what was sad? Well, one time, I think Lewis was there as well. I had the opportunity to meet Nolan North and Troy Baker, but it was
Yeah.
at the time when I didn't know who they were, so I didn't meet them. Yeah,
They
it was
turn
very
up. They
sad.
turn up to like Comic Cons in the UK quite a lot. With
They do,
Troy
but
Baker,
they're
Troy Baker
expensive.
does
Like
everything.
Comic Cons have got ridiculous with like prices that they charge for like just seeing them.
For autographs. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I think Dave of PTR fame, he went to see the Hobbits at Liverpool Comic Con, I think it was. So
Well, I've met a Hobbit as well.
Sean Astin.
How much did they charge for that?
I think it was over. I think it was over 300 quid for all of them.
That's
Wait, what?
That's disgusting.
Because it was signatures and it was a picture with all of them.
That's still not worth it.
I got Pippin for like 20 quid.
That's just one Hobbit though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If you stick Elijah Wood in there, then that's going to up it by at least a ton, without a doubt. But anyway, back onto Deadpool. So yeah, I think it would be nice if Microsoft can just go through all the studios that Activision have Call of Duty-fied over time and just one by one free them from the shackles.
Just wreck.
I thought you were going to say make them redundant.
No,
Yeah,
That would be good.
you're gonna let Jaime make Deadpool again. That'd be nice.
No, yeah, I agree. I think it's really sad, and I hate how like a lot of this media and stuff is basically it exists until it doesn't exist. It exists until a big corporate executive says, "Nah, like you're not real anymore. You're gone. This game doesn't exist. We're never gonna speak about this game again. We're never gonna mention it again." And then it's just sort of dead to the world. Luckily, being a little piratey boy it exists, and it allows for people to still enjoy these things. But it's really sad that a franchise as big as Deadpool as well has a video game and no one can play it. It's just lost. It's just lost to time, and that's just really stupid, especially in the modern day. Like, I get it with a game that's like 50 years old maybe, but a game that's like 10 years old,
even then,
it's just stupid.
There's foundations whose entire job is to take these video games and make sure that they are preserved.
Yeah.
Over time, it's a lot of like obviously it's not the main thing of piracy at all, but piracy is again it's making sure these things are cracked and downloadable, so they can be played by people forever rather than having been locked out. Like it worries me with this whole Marvel licensing thing. Like I mean, like is like for example like Star Wars Outlaws that's coming out in a couple of weeks. Is that one day not going to be playable because of licensing issues?
I assume so at some point.
It's not great at all. It's not the way it should be.
And it's just sad as well. It's just a money thing. That's it. It's just money.
It's all about the
people want money and people refuse to pay things. People charge a shit ton for stuff. It's just stupid.
Exactly.
Money is nice.
Money is nice.
It is, but when you have a lot of it, you could sort of,
You want more of it?
Take some liberties and just go, yeah, you can have this game. We won't charge you $20 million to renew the license.
Exactly. All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to go over before we wrap up?
Yeah.
The
final boss.
What about him?
We always seem to forget about the final boss.
What was wrong with the final boss?
It was just unnecessarily hard for no reason.
Why?
It was.
It wasn't. It was just long.
It was just. I honestly, I didn't even know it was the final boss until I beat the game. I think it was just non-stop thingy. I ran out of ammo, so I had to keep picking up ammo for the pulse gun and the shotguns, and I just kept fucking shooting forgot his name.
Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
Sinister, that was it.
That was the easiest part of the boss fight for me.
He just kept coming back, and I was like, am I doing something wrong?
No, he wasn't coming back, he was just creating...
more clones.
No, I know, but like, I thought I was doing something wrong, right? I was like, he's coming back for a reason. Do I have to kill him on this circle? Do I have to kill them all at the same time?
It sounds like a severe skill issue.
No.
Literally, as soon as all the ads
when
went...
the game doesn't direct me, when it just keeps...
You didn't need
It just keeps bringing the boss back. In my head, I'm like, I'm doing something wrong, clearly. Because he's coming back, and I need to do something else to him. No?
It's a skill issue, friend. I'm sorry.
It's just the fact that Mr. Sinister was creating clones for the entire game.
Yeah,
no, I know.
The fact that he was doing it in the boss fight didn't surprise. I knew there'd be an end to it eventually.
Yeah.
It was quite funny that we didn't get to kill
destroy a clone machine somewhere. Do I have
a clone machine.
The clone machine.
I don't
Where's your
know.
mind going?
Not only have you been killing like Sinister clones the whole game, you've been killing clones the whole game, and they keep coming back.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
like, where was my mind going? You can't say that in a game like Deadpool.
You can't say
No, but
you can't say it. It's forbidden.
You can't.
I think going the clone machine route is a bit hefty.
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, as soon as the ads were gone, and it was just the actual bosses, that was the easiest part. like because you didn't have to worry about getting
keep
shot.
running.
You just had to wait for your opportunity, to hit them, and that was it. And when the Sinister Boy actually came out, the shotgun I found was very good. You could just stun lock him the whole time until he died.
The worst part about that fight for me, which is just a me issue, is just that the game crashed just before I finished it, like the defeating all like the mobs part, and then it crashed, and then I had to do it again.
Oh dear.
But that was it. I mean, it was outside of that. It was it was long, but it was also the final fight, so I just sort of forgave it. I wasn't too bothered.
It was quite funny as well how we didn't actually get to kill Mr. Sinister. At any point, that happened in a cutscene at the very end.
Which I accidentally pressed the button as well, so I didn't know what happened. Like I saw
I
a
didn't know what the
prompt
option
flash
was.
up. Yeah, I saw it flash up, and I just pressed it, and it was over. I thought it was a gag ending, and so I watched the whole credits, and then I was just in the main menu.
Waiting for the after credits scene.
I was just waiting to be back in the game, but I didn't think it was over.
Alright. Anything else from anyone else?
No,
No, banging. Right,
No.
so round me your scores again. So I gave it an 8.
I get a
6.
5.
5.
6.
6. Lewis?
6.
6. So
I give it 5.
That is a average of 6.25, which just that just seems to be what we end up with every time. To be honest with you, when you're averaging 4 people's scores.
Not too bad.
Yeah, no.
That's probably one of the highest though.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
thinking about it, right?
For an 11-year-old game.
That's true. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So putting this out immediately. What's up at the end of August? Someone remind me.
Beyond Good and Evil.
So we've got the Beyond Good and Evil video game book club review up at the end of August, and at the end of September it will be Sifu. But other than that, we shall.
It's a spoiler.
Shit food.
Oh, you just spoiled it.
He just spoiled it.
Just spoiled it. Well,
Yes.
it's fine. So we'll see you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.